It sat on the mantel, quiet and dignified, a small wooden clock, its hands missing, its tick silenced long ago. Yet, every day, Mrs. Irene dusted it gently, the same way she had for the past 43 years. Sometimes, I think the objects we keep say more about us than the things we say out loud. That clock, broken, silent, held more stories than any diary could. And one summer afternoon, I found out why. Hello and welcome to Everyday Epiphany, where simple stories spark soulful insights. Sit back, enjoy the journey, and may it brighten your day. I was 16 the first time I visited Mrs. Irene's house. My mom had volunteered me to mow her lawn for the summer, something about helping the elderly. Mrs. Irene lived alone in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of town. Her house was one of those you could tell had seen better days, but also that someone still loved it. Roses lined the fence. A rocking chair sat by the porch. And every time I came, she'd greet me in the same floral apron, her silver hair tied up neatly. The first few visits were routine. I'd mow, she'd bring out lemonade, and we'd chat a little, mostly her asking questions and me giving the shortest answers possible. I was a teenager, after all. But one day, it rained. Not a drizzler, full, thunder-shaking summer storm. She invited me in. I remember the smell first, something like cinnamon, mixed with old paper and lavender. Her living room was filled with relics, old photographs, lace-covered shelves, little figurines, and there on the mantel, the clock, wooden carved edges, no hands. I stared at it, curious. She caught me. "That old thing," she said softly, sitting down with a sigh. It stopped ticking the day Charles left. Charles, I later learned, was her husband. He'd passed away decades ago. "But you kept it?" I asked. She nodded. "Yes, not because I needed to know the time." She poured us tea, told me about the years they spent together, how he used to whistle in the kitchen, how he'd read to her every night, even when his eyesight started to go. He was the kind of man, she said, who waited for buses, for flowers to bloom, for the right words. She paused. When he was diagnosed, they told us 6 months, but he stayed for 3 years. Every day, we made time. There was a gentleness in her eyes when she said it, not sadness. Something deeper, acceptance maybe. A kind of love that wasn't frantic or loud. The next few weeks, I started coming inside more often, rain or shine. She taught me how to bake shortbread. We listened to old records. Sometimes we just sat in silence, sipping tea, while the clock stood there, quietly reminding us of something we couldn't quite say. One day I asked her, "Do you ever wish it ticked again?" She smiled, without looking at me. "No, if it did, I might start rushing again." I didn't understand the weight of those words until years later. In college, during a rough semester where deadlines piled and nights blurred into early mornings, I stumbled upon a book, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Burkeman. It wasn't a guide to productivity. Not really. It was more of a quiet protest against the cult of doing more, a reminder that life is finite, painfully zoned, that trying to squeeze every ounce of efficiency out of it might be the very thing that steals the joy from it. Burkeman writes, "The real problem isn't our limited time. It's that we expect it to accommodate infinite desires." And just like that, I was back in Mrs. Irene's living room, watching the silent clock, understanding for the first time what she had meant. She wasn't measuring time in hours or days. She was measuring it in presence. Years later, When she passed, I was asked to speak at her small memorial. I told the story of the clock, of how a young kid, too impatient to understand silence, learned the rhythm of life from a woman who had every reason to be bitter, but chose to wait instead. Wait for healing, wait for meaning, wait for moments, not milestones. And in that waiting, she taught me the greatest lesson of all, that sometimes, the most profound parts of life happen in the pauses. That not all clocks need hands, and not all time is meant to be measured. Some of it is simply meant to be felt. So the next time you're stuck in traffic, waiting for someone to text back, or watching the coffee drip a little too slowly, maybe, just maybe, don't reach for your phone. Don't check the time. Just be there. Because some of life's most beautiful truths are whispered when we stop counting the minutes and start living in them. Thank you for being here with us at Everyday Epiphany. If today's story touched your heart or sparked a thought, subscribe and stay with us. Your next epiphany might just be one story away.